A growing number of older dams are in dangerous condition across the U.S. The Associated Press reports that more than 2,000 of them are rated as high hazards, meaning they would likely cause deaths if they were to fail. NTD's Andrew Thomas has more.
The massive rock and clay dam at El Capitan Reservoir is capable of storing over 36 billion gallons of water, enough to supply every resident in San Diego for most of a year. Today, it's three-quarters empty because of concerns it could fail.
I mean, on an earthquake, a big earthquake, you never know what's going to happen, if this is going to hold, you know what I mean?
El Capitan has been added to a growing list of dams rated in poor condition that would likely cause deaths downstream if they failed.
That our dams are getting older. The average age of a dam is about 60 years old, and there are many dams that are well over 100 years old that are still in operation and existence.
An Associated Press analysis tallied more than 2,200 high-hazard dams in poor or unsatisfactory condition across the U.S. The $1 trillion infrastructure bill signed last year by President Joe Biden will pump about $3 billion into dam-related projects.
In addition to freeways and bridges, which are important, these reservoirs are very important as well, and we need to start spending the money on them to retrofit them, to get them up again back to full capacity.
The nation's dams are over a half-century old on average, and often present more of a hazard than originally envisioned when designed, because homes, businesses, or highways have been built below them.
Well, it's if you're in an area impacted by a flood caused by the failure of that dam, your life is potentially at risk. Should that dam fail. So that's why it's important. We should know the hazards around us in all shapes and forms, and dams are one of them.
A change in climate and extreme floods have brought a renewed focus to an often overlooked aspect of the nation's critical infrastructure. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
A Southern California man and his sister recently pleaded guilty to running a $6 million real estate scam. They listed homes for sale without the owner's consent and then collected money for the not-for-sale properties.
A man from Torrance, California pleaded guilty on Monday to one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, according to the DOJ. 44-year-old Adolfo Skonik ran the scheme with his sister, 39-year-old Bianca Gonzalez. She also goes by the same last name as her brother. Gonzalez previously pleaded guilty in April. According to court papers, the co-conspirator siblings operated real estate and escrow companies under a variety of names based in Cerritos, La Palma, and Long Beach from November 2013 to December 2016. They found properties that they would then list for sale on real estate websites, but they didn't intend on selling the homes. In some cases, the homes were marketed through open houses. The perpetrators allegedly tricked homeowners into allowing the homes to be used. As part of the scheme, the group accepted multiple offers for each of the not-for-sale properties, leading each of the victims to believe that their offers were the only ones accepted, prosecutors said. Victims were sometimes strung along for years, being told that the closings were delayed because lenders needed to approve the sales. The group allegedly directed office workers to open bank accounts under their names, making it hard to trace funds. Investigators estimate that several hundred victims collectively lost more than $6 million. Skonik is scheduled for a sentence hearing on August 8th, and his sister on October 3rd.
As the world reopens to air travel, Southern California airports are seeing significant increases in passengers. Numbers are approaching pre-pandemic lockdown numbers. Airline passengers have increased at the airports.
Airline passenger traffic has more than doubled in both Santa Ana's John Wayne Airport and Los Angeles International Airport compared to last year. The airline passenger traffic at Santa Ana is almost back to pre-pandemic numbers. April 2022 saw 2.2 million passengers pass through the airport. That's close to 200% higher than numbers from 1 year ago. March saw a much lower number of 920,000 passengers, but that was still more than 2 times the traffic in March 2021. Current numbers were less than 1% below pre-pandemic lockdown levels. The airport recorded a 50% increase in commercial and commuter flights, totaling over 8,000 aircraft operations. Southwest Airlines, American Airlines, and United Airlines served the most passengers. A spokesperson for the John Wayne Airport told the Epoch Times that there was a big increase in travel not only for holidays but also for school breaks. He advised travelers to arrive 2 hours early to get through the TSA security checkpoints in time because of the limited parking spaces. In addition, travelers are no longer required to wear masks. The spokesperson said, "People appreciate having the choice to wear a mask or not." LAX recorded over 1 million international passengers in March 2022. Passengers also increased over 200% from the previous year. When adding in domestic passengers, the total number of travelers topped 5 million during the same period. Justin Arbachi, CEO of Los Angeles World Airports, said, "As the world reopens to air travel, LAX is welcoming back international airlines and nonstop service to destinations around the globe. As summer draws near, both airports are ready for the increase in travel."
For the first time in more than a century, the endangered California condor has returned to the skies over the state's far northern coast. Let's take a look at the birds.
2 captive-bred California condors were released into the wild on Tuesday. The birds took to the skies above the Redwood National Park, an hour's drive south of the Oregon state line. The release was part of a project aimed at restoring the giant vultures into their historic habitat in the Pacific Northwest. Condors once soared across large areas, but their numbers depleted over the years due to hunting, pollution, and habitat loss. A captive breeding program started in the 1980s. It has raised the number of condors to about 500. Some are now found in California, Arizona, Utah, and Mexico.
If condors weren't enough, Spirit, the young bald eagle, is growing up fast and becoming more independent. Let's take a look at how the eaglet is doing.
Spirit is almost 9 weeks old and weighs about 7 to 12 pounds. That's 90% of its full-grown weight. Friends of Big Bear Valley operates a live stream of the eagle family, complete with Spirit, its mother Jackie, and father Shadow. Spirit continues to develop feathers on its flanks, legs, as well as flight feathers on wings and tail. Its upper body feathers are now visibly complete. Flight feathers can be up to 22 inches in length. As the longest wing and tail feathers, they provide lift and maneuverability in flight. Over the next few weeks, Spirit will be seen flapping more vigorously with higher jumps and even hovers, as well as more sleeping on the nest rails in an upright position, just like mom and dad. Most eaglets fledge around 10 to 14 weeks of age, when their flight feathers are not yet fully grown. So, the first few flight attempts tend to be very short and awkward. After fledging, Spirit should stay in the territory for a few more weeks, gaining more independence while still following Jackie and Shadow around. Juvenile eaglets leave the natal territory and disperse by fall. Driven by wanderlust, they enter a period of great exploration. This will last until they are about 4 to 5 years of age. By then, bald eagles are ready to settle down and start a family of their own. That is also when they get their signature white heads and tails.